Welcome to this episode of the Product Inspiration series, where we deep dive into the latest innovations and enhancement of SAP customer experience and industry solutions. Today, we have a special treat for you as we explore last mile distribution, a cutting-edge solution that improves the world of logistics and supply chain management. Joining me today is Thomas, a product expert who will give us insights into this exciting offering. Thomas, how are you doing today?
Thank you, Kati. I'm doing well, and I'm really excited to be here today to talk about last mile distribution and how it improves the go-to-market process of companies in the consumer goods industries.
Great. Let's start by understanding why SAP has decided to invest in the specific solutions. Many listeners might wonder why such a solution is necessary and what pain point it aims to address.
Sure, happy to do so. The rise of e-commerce and direct-to-consumer business models has revolutionized the retail and consumer industry. However, the growth of online sales also put a lot of pressure on how our big beverage, food, pharma or tobacco customer handle distribution and delivery. Traditional distribution methods often involve multiple handoffs, leading to inefficiencies and a lack of visibility. Last mile distribution was developed to address these challenges. It's an innovative solution that offers direct distribution and last mile capabilities, optimizing delivery operations and creating a seamless customer experience. It's the next generation of direct store delivery of SAP. For many of our customers, it's an own go-to-market model that sets them apart from the competition. With last mile distribution, they have a direct store delivery process that offers them valuable point of sales data and helps them establish a strong relationship to meet market needs. This gives our customers insight into each store's sales performance, helping them increase sales revenue following the concept of end-to-end automation and AI usage. We aim to reduce operational costs significantly.
That makes a lot of sense. Now let's move on to the second part of our discussion. Our listeners would like to know what specific scenarios or use cases this solution addresses. You might mention last mile distribution, but there are likely many more examples.
Absolutely, Kati. Last mile distribution is designed for businesses engaged in the direct selling and distribution of goods to retail stores, mom and pop stores, or end consumers. It empowers manufacturers and suppliers of various consumer goods to manage every stage of the distribution process, ensuring efficiency and customer satisfaction. Whether it's a route preparation, route execution, or route settlement, this solution addresses the planning and execution of various scenarios. For example, it enables the delivery of ordered goods directly to the final point of sale, such as retail stores, gas stations, and mom-and-pop stores. Additionally, it supports a van sale scenario, enabling a driver to sell goods directly from vehicles. Furthermore, we support pre-sales activities such as planning and executing sales activities. You can also combine scenarios. For example, a delivery driver can also record future sales orders for upcoming deliveries.
Fascinating. This solution certainly seems versatile. Now, could you also let us know how our customers can adopt last mile distribution? Are there any prerequisites in terms of their S/4HANA release or partner solutions they should definitely consider?
Of course, Kati. The solution is embedded in SAP S/4HANA Private Cloud Edition, and it's closely connected to quote-to-cash, logistic execution, transportation management, and SAP S/4HANA Finance. In addition, we provide an open architecture to include additional parts, such as warehouse management, SAP Sales Cloud, business warehouse systems, and third-party mobile solutions. We recommend implementing the SAP S/4HANA 2023 FPS 0 release or later. But now, let's dive deeper. Let's take a closer look and see last mile distribution in action.
Okay, welcome to the demo. The first scenario that I want to show you out of two scenarios is the delivery driver as a paper-based process. The paper-based process means that the driver gets at the beginning of his route all delivery notes for the customer, all check-out, check-in papers printed out on paper, and everything that happens during the route will be recorded on these papers. Afterwards, once the driver is coming back to the distribution center, the values of these paperworks need to be keyed in the system. We have typically three main personas for this process: the route planner, the driver, and a settlement clerk. A fourth one could be the route manager, who is responsible for all LMD routes belonging to one or more distribution centers. The delivery driver works typically with pre-ordered goods, and he records all changes or everything what's happening during the route at the customer visit on this paper. So this can include quantity changes due to refusal of some customer, new ad hoc pickup for returns, and probably some collections that the driver made for cash customers. The orders in S/4HANA are the starting documents for our LMD order to cash flow. From these orders, deliveries are created and planned in SAP Transportation Management. Here, the transportation planner can plan the routes either manually or more often with SAP Transportation Management Optimizer. Of course, he can still do adjustments after the optimization run in the created freight order. Mainly, he ensures that the correct resources are assigned, that we can see here on the top, which is the truck that our driver uses, and of course the driver itself. In addition, he checks the stages on the route, or could potentially check the stages on the route. And we see here the sequence. So it's a route starting at this distribution center, visiting these 4 customers, and returns finally to the distribution center. Now the planner sets the freight order in execution. So these are 2 checks that he needs to do. I show this here manually, but in a real life example, this is done by the warehouse management system when we get the result from the picking that everything has been picked and loaded. And with this transactions or changing the status, in the background, the messages for the last mile distribution is created, and of course for the paper-based printout, we create a collective output which contains all the delivery notes that are part of these route and additional documents like check-in, check-out documents. Now the truck is ready to leave, so the process continues outside S/4HANA. The driver, our second persona, processes a checkout typically and then leaves the distribution center and executes the customer visits. At customer side, various things could happen. For example, customer refuses a product, pick up a return due to quality issue, or he does some payment collections for the actual delivery or an order open item. So he records all these activities on the papers. Once the route is finished, so means every customer has been visited, the driver returns to the distribution center and performs a check-in process. That is counting all remaining goods on the truck before they are unloaded to the warehouse. After this, he hands over all paperwork and money back to the settlement clerk. The settlement clerk is the persona that keys in everything that is written down on the papers during the route. Therefore, the clerk will raise the settle route data app and key in the route that he is working on. In the route itself, he can then record everything what's written down on the papers. So for instance, if there would be some differences in the checkout, he would record the values here. In our scenario, this is not the case, so we are going forward to the visits, and here we can capture all the things that happened during a customer visit. This could be, for instance, a reduction of products because the customer refuses some goods. So let's do it for the first one. He accepted only 3 of our products. He sees the differences And in addition, we want also to record some payments for this customer. That means he handed over some money to our driver. Therefore, we add this payment. Let's put in 101.85. And we can additionally then assign this payment to a concrete open item of this customer. After saving, you see that the system is always calculating the differences. So when we are going forward now to the check-in, expected that our driver brings back 2 cases from the refused products of the first customer. So, but we will treat this as a difference. So we say nothing has been arrived. And in addition, of course, the system is expecting also the payments from our driver that we have to key in here. Save it. And then at least this difference should be gone. This difference for the product is still there. You can easily check it on the difference tab, where the history, let's say, from the product is shown. So quantity checkout, delivered quantity is 3, expected quantity was 2 back. So final difference is -2. After doing this, we accept the differences and we can now click on Settle Now. We got another hint, but we will accept this. The settlement run will create for the driver then a difference document to adjust our stock and of course get the money from the driver back. After a bunch of seconds, we see that the settlement run has already started. It's creating all the documents related to the customer. You see here the collected payment for the money handover, and the original sales order will be adjusted with the 2 products that have been refused by the customer. So going forward, the settlement will be finalized. The settlement status is now settled, and we see here also the driver documents. So, and these driver documents here is the difference document from the check-in process and the financial posting for the money that the driver collected during his customer visits. With that, the settlement clerk has done his work. Then we have another persona who is interesting in the settlement. This is our route manager, and the route manager can track easily every route in the system belonging to his DC or responsibility to check the status, because the goal is for a route manager to have all routes settled within the actual day. So, and you see here a bunch of statuses, and the important ones for the route manager at the end is that the settlement status is settled. And we will come back to this app again in the next scenario when I show you the van seller scenario. In addition, somebody else from the customer service could be interested in the created documents that have been done by the settlement. Therefore, we have this route document flow app where all the documents will be shown. So we see here all our 4 customers that are part of the route. There's no uncompleted documents. So let's go into there, the first customer. And the system shows what documents have been created until the financial document. So all the SD and logistic documents are completed. The clearing is missing, therefore the status here is cleared. So with this 3 apps, all 3 personas like the settlement clerk, route manager, or service are able to analyze and process every route in our system. This concludes the first scenario, and now I will show you the second scenario, which is the van seller. Okay, let's have a look now on the van sales scenario. The van sales scenario starts also with a freight order. The main difference compared to a delivery driver scenario is that the van seller does not have any pre-ordered goods on his truck. He has just a predictive load on his truck and tries to sell everything during the route to the customers. You see here on the stages area all the customers that are part of a visit list that the driver needs to visit on his execution day. When we have a look here in the items area, we will just see one delivery, which is the predictive load, which is captured on the driver's behalf. All the other freight units that you're seeing here are so-called service freight units, where the driver has to do some activities on the customer sides for each customer. With van sales, we have also another capability to separate the stock from the warehouse stock. So therefore, keep in mind our truck, because we will see it in a second what happens to this. Okay, the predictive load gets picked and packed in the warehouse as usual, and we release our freight order so that the van seller can execute his route. I'm doing these steps manually here, but of course this is also an automated step in the background once the picking is played back from the warehouse system to our S/4HANA system. So as you have maybe seen in the short message window on the bottom left side, there was a message said truck stock posting executed, and now we have a closer look what does it mean in the system. So as mentioned, we are using the truck stock to differentiate our main stock in the warehouse from the actual stock that's currently on our routes. So therefore I'm looking for my truck, which is used here as identifier, and with this identifier we are separating the warehouse stock from the truck stock. So, and here we see exactly what's currently on our truck. At the end, after the final settlement, at the end of the day, if all postings have been done, in a perfect world, this truck stock is empty. As mentioned, the van sale scenario is a mobile scenario that has less manual interactions that we have seen in the paper-based scenario before. So therefore, we have also a possibility to track the route. So we are choosing now the route process tracking, and we have our route ID entered here. I've refreshed the screen, and here you see certain status steps that we are recording, and we can control where the actual route is. And as mentioned before, we are in a mobile scenario, and now this route has been downloaded to a mobile device. Okay, now the route is downloaded to a mobile device. You will see here some mock-ups because SAP itself doesn't offer a mobile solution for our process, but we have a public API available where third-party solutions can be connected. So in the field, the driver is executing his route, and at a certain point of time he comes to a store manager and executes his visit. On the left-hand side, you see the visit list. It's the sequence in which direction the driver should execute his visits. So, for example, in our stop here, he reaches the store manager and negotiates about a sale. He captures directly the goods that are required. So in this case, 2 items with the related quantity directly from his truck. And at the end, he takes also some cash immediately for this customer, for this delivery. And all these data are recorded in the mobile device, and later on, once the driver comes back to the distribution center, he uploads everything from the mobile device, and the LMD in the back end is processing this mobile uploaded data in the settlement, as you have seen it by the delivery driver scenario, but in an automated manner. So now our driver returns to the DC and uploads his mobile data. So let's have a quick look into our route process tracking app. I have already entered my route, and we see here the status has changed to release. That means the mobile data have arrived at the back end, and now the settlement is waiting for the batch job, is picking up it in the background, so nobody needs to key in anything else, and all the mobile data will be processed. So now let's quickly check if the batch job picked up the route and settled it. Just refresh, and here we go. So everything is settled now. In cases of differences, customer documents created as you have seen it before for the delivery driver, and the payment postings have been executed. So let's have a quick check on our route stock. So that means after the settlement, in a perfect world, the truck stock should be empty. So, and as you might remember, our truck was SD ES 10 PAL 020. Let's check. So no data found. That means everything happened in a good way. Okay, let's check also quickly the documents that have been created. So also for controlling purposes, you can easily track the single documents that have been created by each settlement. There we go. I'm choosing the customer, for instance, 001, and you see all the backend documents have been created based on the mobile data from the mobile device. Okay, with that, I have presented you the two scenarios. One was the delivery driver in a paper-based scenario. Of course, you can run also the delivery driver in a mobile scenario. And in addition here, a van sales scenario, which is a pure mobile scenario at the moment. And of course, you can run also mixed scenarios. That means a combination, as mentioned before in the interview, as a combination out of the delivery driver and the van seller, for instance. So this concludes my demo. Thank you for watching and have a good day.
Welcome to the world of SAP Intelligent CX. Our comprehensive suite of applications seamlessly integrates front-end and back-end systems, providing a unified and streamlined approach to managing customer interactions. We incorporate artificial intelligence that allows your team to work smarter and faster, and our industry-tailored use cases and partner ecosystem empowers organizations to deliver extraordinary experiences, build lasting relationships, and drive sustainable growth. Our composable SAP Customer Experience Suite enables leading brands to understand and protect customer data, increase lifetime value with personalized journeys, close more business faster, drive consistently profitable commerce outcomes, and deliver automated and agent-assisted service. Learn how you can deliver extraordinary customer experiences. Visit sap.com/cx.